Did you know that the Z Fold 3 has the option to have a separate setup on an inner and outer screen or share the same one for both? Hey everyone, welcome to PhoneUX. On this video I'm going to go over some tips and tricks that are going to help you take advantage of the Z Fold series. So my first tip is to have a different home screen for your outer screen and for your inner screen. This is going to take advantage of what you really use the Fold series for. On the outer screen, you're most likely going to want to have your messaging apps, maybe the camera app, your favorites area, and some other apps that you use quite often. On the inner screen, you're probably going to want to have some of the more intense apps. You're going to probably want to have Netflix, YouTube, maybe some Adobe in there. Let's face it, you're not going to be using your Adobe Express or those types of apps on the front screen. It's just you don't have the use of the pen to be more accurate. You don't have the use of the larger screen. That's not what the outer screen is for. So really having that dual setup is gonna really let you take advantage of the Fold series phones. So the second tip is really more of a preference, but it's one that I was kind of reluctant to really change into, and ever since I switched, I just don't go back. And that's using the Gboard keyboard. So I was not sure if the Gboard was gonna be optimized properly for the Fold series, but honestly, it behaves pretty much exactly the same way as the Samsung series keyboard does, or the Samsung keyboard does. When you're on the outer screen, it squishes everything together. There's no extra space. As soon as you open it, it does have that divider in the middle that kind of spreads out the keys a little bit and makes it easier to reach on your thumbs. It does that just like the Samsung keyboard does, but it's a bit more accurate, has better predictive text, and it just overall works better. So that's definitely a good switch for the Fold series, and probably any Samsung really. I was pretty happy to find out that it works perfectly with the Fold series. Alright, tip number 3 is using the feature that lets the app continue on the outer screen when you close the screen. So this is a big one. It doesn't really affect the ability to close the phone to shut it off. That still works if an app is not open, or on some apps that don't have that functionality, or I guess optimization. Let me show you a quick example of how this works. So I have it on the full screen. Obviously, you know, you get more detail here, but let's say you need to close it up to continue on the go. It's more convenient to use it when you close it. So we're gonna come here, we're gonna close it, and we're gonna see that it pops up in the front screen, and it readjusts the size and everything. And it works great. And then obviously you can just open it and continue on here. So, and let me show you how it behaves. Let's say you have no app open and you close it, it stays off. So it doesn't affect that functionality. So that's why it's a plus. It really only affects it when you close it with an app open, which in most cases, at least from my experience, the way I do it, I always go to the home screen when I'm done, or if I'm gonna shut off the screen with an app open, I just press the power button. So it really doesn't affect me negatively at all, and it's all pros for me by activating that option. The next one is probably the most obvious one. So, and pretty much with any folding phone, is that you're gonna want to use the rear camera setup for selfies. This is obviously gonna give you the best outcome. It has the best sensors. It even has a flash if you needed that. I hardly ever use it because night mode photography is so good now that I feel like flash just kind of makes it worse. Definitely use the outer cameras for selfies when you have a folding phone. It's just might as well take advantage of the tools you have available. The last tip I have on this one is really just to take advantage of your Edge and Taskbar here and save your split screen views on there, and that's just gonna make it easier to get the screen how you normally use it. So for example, I like to have my browser and my notes open as I'm writing some of the specs and details on the scripts. So having that set up pre-saves just makes it a lot easier. Just press R1 instead of having to drag each app to where you want it. Having your favorite split screen setups saved just makes it so much easier. The positive about the Fold series is you have the taskbar, which for me is the most convenient way to really change between apps, and then having your split screen setups saved on the taskbar is the best, but having the Edge panel on the super large inner screen is really beneficial because you have so much screen that it's gonna be less noticeable than on a regular phone. So take advantage of both. Just fill them both up with the apps you want, and it's gonna make you that much quicker, more efficient when working on the phone. And lastly, this is more of advice really than a tip or a trick. So just Spend some time, go over your settings, especially with Samsung. Samsung has extra apps that let you modify your UI even further with the good lock and all the different apps that are included in there. And then you also have the labs section, which has a bunch of features that just aren't enabled by default, but is there, and most of them are pretty reliable. They don't really, I haven't had any really give me a hard time. Just explore the settings. I mean, that's what Android is about. Android is about going through all your settings, you know, and modifying the way your phone kind of behaves to your liking. Just take advantage of that and really just spend time on it. You'll find stuff that you wouldn't even know existed, and you'll be able to enhance your experience with the phone. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, I'll see you in the next one.